the link to this video on the same day. So of course I knew this was the first DIY I had to make when I got back. If you're new here, then a big welcome, and please hit that subscribe button to help Macaroon and Cute Life Hacks reach 1 million subscribers before the end of summer. The interesting thing about these phone cases is that you can easily buy the squishies on their own. I got these from banggood.com and I've linked them down below. These are made from silicone and they have an incredible texture which is much softer than foam-based squishies. For this reason, I decided not to make a DIY squishy because it's almost impossible to replicate this consistency using craft supplies. These are so uniquely relaxing to play with, and you have to try it out yourself to see what I'm talking about. Next, you'll need some blank phone cases. I ordered these over Amazon using my gift card balance, so they basically didn't cost me anything. There's a great app called App Bounty which lets you earn free Amazon gift cards. I've mentioned this on my channel a few times before and just wanted to do a quick reminder for any newcomers. You simply need to go to appbounty.net or click the link below to get started. If this is your first time using it, then be sure to enter my code CUTE to get some extra credits. For full disclosure, this video is not sponsored by App Bounty, but I do get a tiny commission for every person who uses my code. Once inside, you can start completing different tasks to earn credits. There's been a new update where you can earn even more credits by playing games that you've downloaded. Be sure to allow app usage tracking for this option so App Bounty knows how much you play and can give you the credits based on that. Once you have enough credits, you can exchange them in the shop for all kinds of gift cards. If you have any more questions, then please check the FAQ in the description box below. And now, without further ado, let's get started on these squishy phone cases. So to make this DIY, you'll need paintbrushes, acrylic paint, white PVA glue, needle and thread, silicone squishies, scrap card, and some blank phone cases. First, we're going to create a template for the artwork. Trace around the case onto a piece of scrap paper or card and cut it out so it fits nicely inside the phone case like this. Now start sketching out your design. Please remember that this can be as simple or as complex as you want. If you're not a fan of painting, then you can even skip this stage entirely and just attach the squishies onto a clear phone case. Once you have the template, stick it inside the phone case using some clear tape. Now just repeat this process to make the other ones. I think the best part about DIYing your case is that you're not limited to existing designs. For instance, for the third one, I decided to go with a sushi theme since this hilarious looking squishy reminded me a bit of food. For the painting stage, I recommend a small flat brush and a thin pointy brush, which is what I use for all of my acrylic work. If you don't have any purple paint, then you can mix it yourself using red and blue. Almost every color needs to be diluted with titanium white, so make sure you always have a big tube of that ready. One final tip, which I always recommend when using acrylic paint for crafting, is to mix in some white PVA glue. This has no effect on the final color, but it gives the paint a lot more elasticity and shine. This is particularly useful for things like phone cases since it prevents dried paint from chipping or flaking. Simply add a small amount into your palette and mix until blended. Now you can start filling in all the colors. You'll need about 2 coats for each area. And remember that dry paint always looks slightly darker than fresh paint. So don't worry if you're painting over an area that's already starting to dry and you notice that the shades don't match up. As long as you're using the same batch of paint, the final result will look the same. To make the color for the bed, mix red, yellow, purple and white together. Then add some light pink for the floor and grey for the remaining furniture. Now switch to a thin paintbrush and start adding some darker outlines and brighter highlights. This is the part that really makes a difference to your illustration, so try to spend some time working on the details. And of course, don't stress if it doesn't look perfect. Painting is always a learning process, and it's about the joy of working with colors and not how the final result looks. The more you paint, the better you'll become, and unless you actually want to be a professional illustrator, you should always try to avoid comparing your own work with other people's. I think art is similar to sports because the biggest benefit is for yourself. For instance, if you like running, then you know you don't have to be the best runner in your whole town to feel good about doing it. So when it comes to crafting or painting, it's all about having something which helps you let go of stress, and not about getting your work to look perfect. The second phone case is easier to paint since it doesn't need any shading. Simply fill in the colors, making sure each area is fully dry before you paint next to it. For the very tiny details, I'm actually using a toothpick, which I find much easier to control than a brush. This doesn't hold a lot of paint, but it's perfect for dotting on little details like the eyes, nose, or mouths. For the final step, mix a dark blue color and add in some waves. And now your second phone case is done. For the last one, I just painted on this sushi design using the same method. Many people might be thinking, why go into the trouble of making your own phone case when you can simply buy these online? That is true, but being able to DIY these gives you a lot more freedom. For instance, I loved this one squishy, which is normally not sold as part of a case, but it was super easy to turn this into a phone cover. I also think that a Neko Itsumu inspired case would be perfect for this fat cat that looks like Tubbs. Now leave the cases to dry completely, which shouldn't take that long. I find there's no need to glaze them since the PVA glue that we mix into the paint gives it a natural glossy shine. Now grab your squishies and decide exactly where you want to position each one. One of the trickiest parts of this DIY was actually figuring out how to attach the squishy onto the case. This is made from silicone, so obviously almost nothing sticks to it. Craft glue, hot glue, E6000, or even resin epoxy glue, none of them work for this. In the end, I realized that the best method is to simply use needle and thread. First, mark out 2 dots onto the case and the squishy. These should be slightly shorter than the length of your squishy, but long enough so it can still hold everything in place. Take your needle and poke 2 holes through the dots on the phone case. Please get an adult to help you if you're too young and don't feel confident doing this. Thread your needle and double up the thread to make it stronger. Then tie a knot to hold everything in place. Start from the inside of the case and push your needle to the other side, making sure that you leave a small length of thread free. Then simply sew through the dots in your squishy and push the needle through the other side. Now the squishy is firmly attached and it won't fall off no matter how much you squish it. For the last step, just tie the thread together several times on the other side. Then trim off any excess and stick it down with a piece of tape. Now repeat this process with the other 2 phone covers. You can even use this method to attach more than one squishy. Just take care that you don't accidentally sew through the top part of the squishy, particularly with flat ones like these. The thread should always stay hidden inside. And now all of your squishy phone cases are done. These look so amazing and they're unbelievably fun to play with. Silicone squishies do get dirty fairly easily and you can clean them by using rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. I also find that using a piece of tape can help you lift off any surface dust. These make brilliant gifts as well, and you can personalize them by using people's initials or their favorite fandoms. If you don't want to use acrylic paint, then you can actually cover the whole case using nail polish instead. Check out my hollow unicorn phone case tutorial for more details. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and please remember to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. There's still a few places left in the under 1 million club. And be sure to check out App Bounty, where you can earn free gift cards to buy many of the craft supplies mentioned in this video. This is Joanna, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!